And here we go. Okay, so we are in on the island page, and if I click on this data set, it's going to take me to my Google Drive. And anybody who has that link will be able to access this, but you won't be able to edit it. So what we're going to do is you're going to go to File and make a copy of this data set on your own drive and click OK. And now it's your own, right? It will be called Copy of Sampling Frame of Latino Artists, and you should be able to work on this copy. And it will be your own, nobody will see that, okay? So every week when we have an exercise, you will click on that link, on that data set, make a copy for yourself. All right. What you have in front of you is a list of Latino artists, okay? There is, how many? There's about 546 artists. There's their name, the country they live in, and the region in the world where that country is, right? So, of course, there's many more Latino artists, I am sure, but let's suppose this is the list of all. So let's suppose this is a sampling frame of all Latino artists. Okay. So here I did a couple tables here by country, and I found out that there's 151 from Argentina, 54 from Spain, 48 in the United States, 45 in Cuba, 43 in Mexico, and so forth. I'm guessing some Argentinian did this list. So anyway, so, and then by continent or by region, we have from Central America, 60% of them, from Europe. Oh, no, this is incorrect. Okay, so from Central America, 30%, from Europe, 10%, from North America, 9%, from South America, 51%, right? 278. All right, good. So that's our population. Suppose you want to survey them. Suppose you want a survey of Latino artists. You have a couple of questions to ask them with a survey, and you need a representative sample of them, right? And let's say you need a representative sample of 20 of them. So there are a couple of ways to do that, right? One is, so there is two types of functions in Google Sheets or Excel to generate random numbers, okay? So one is the rand between function, and I'm going to show you here, but first I'm going to show you how to do that. So for any type of function in Google Sheets or Excel, when you are going to write a formula, you start with the equal sign. Once you start with the equal sign, the spreadsheet software knows that you're going to put a function there. What has to follow an equal sign is a function, right? So in this case, I am going to use rand, and that's a random number generator, or rand between. It also generates a random number between two values. So if we say, all right, I'm going to use rand between, and I want this spreadsheet to give me, like a lottery, randomly a number from 1 to 546, right? Because we have 546 artists in the list. Okay. So when I hit enter, the spreadsheet is going to give me a random number from 1 to 546. It gave me 236. Who is the lucky winner at 236? That would be Armando Peraza from Cuba. Okay, that is a way to do that. Now, these random number generators in Excel or Google Sheets, they keep going. When there is any change on the spreadsheet, they will generate a number automatically. So if I make any change in the spreadsheet, all the random number generators are going to work again. So if I do this again, let's say, give me another random number. So rand between 1 and 546. Now, when I hit enter, it's going to give me a random number. Now, but because this new number will appear here and the spreadsheet has changed, the random number that I generated before is going to generate again. So it's going to change. If I do that, see, now that's changed to 301 and that's changed to 214. It doesn't matter, they're still random. So I'm going to generate 20 of them, right? 1, 2, it's still changing, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I went to 20. All right. Now, anytime I change, that's going to generate a number, and that's going to generate a number. Now I want 20 random numbers, right? Because that's who's going to be in our sample. It's all random. So I'm going to copy this function of rand between 1 and 546. One way to copy functions quickly in Excel or in Google Sheets is to go to this corner. And when it turns into a plus sign, you grab it with a left click and then you drag. And that means that it's copying whatever it was in that cell, it's copying into all the other cells in the selection. And if I let go, that is a list of 20 random numbers. Okay. And that gives us a list of, that's an unbiased sample of artists. Now, if I do anything else, it's going to change them again. So what I'm going to do is copy this list and paste it here, but not the formulas, just the values. And those were the values, but because the spreadsheet has changed, this generated another list of numbers. So this is my sample now. It was all randomly generated, and we have artist 268, artist 214, artist 500, and so forth in our sample. Okay, that's one way to do it, using this rand between function. We can also do the rand function. I'm going to delete this now. We can also generate random numbers for everybody. Here, for all the list, give everybody their own random number, right? And we can do that with this other function, rand, and then open and close parentheses. And that gives you a random number between 0 and 1, right? Inclusive of 0 and 1. And if you click enter, that gave you a number. And like the other random number generator, whenever you change something on the spreadsheet, it's going to generate a new number. But I'm going to copy this like I showed you, right? Grabbing on that corner here. Oh, it copied sideways. I'm gonna delete that. grabbing on that little with the plus sign, left click, and then dragging. And what I'm doing now is I'm creating a random number for every artist in the list. We're almost there. There. Everybody has a random number. Now, I can pick from here, right? If I pick the biggest numbers, the top 20 biggest numbers, that's a random sample, right? Because I gave everybody a random number. So the top 20 or the smallest 20 or the middle 20, I could pick any of them. Let's pick the top 20. Now this one is at 0.91, right? Maybe there are some bigger ones than that. So I'm just going to sort the biggest numbers based on this list. But remember that when I change the order of things, it's going to generate another number. So what we're going to see after the sorting is probably not going to be the same. So anyway, but it's going to sort based on this number, on these values that we have right now. So how do we sort? We just select all the columns. We go to data. And it's best to use this sort range function. Okay, so sort range. And the first thing it's going to ask us is, okay, so does your data set have a header row? Like, is the first row names for variables? And in this case, yes, right? So the first row is name, country, region. So that we don't want that to be, part of the data. That's the names of the variables. So yes, it does. And now this has changed and it's asking us, okay, so you want to sort based on what? Based on number, name, country, region, or just a random number that you've generated? And we said, yeah, we want to sort based on the random number that is there right now, because that's going to change, but based on the one that is right now. And we want the biggest numbers, from the biggest to the smallest. If we click sort, then these were the biggest 20. This was like Camila Cabello from the United States. Never heard of her, but anyway, she had the biggest number of them all. But that changed after the sorting. Anyway, these first 20 names, that could be your sample, right? That could be our sample. It was randomly selected because everybody was given a random number, and then we sorted them. So Tito Nieves, Maria Cristina Kier, Amaral, Leonel Garcia, La Mafia, Don Omar. Anyway, that's how you can collect random samples, either with the rand function, right? Now that's not going to do anything because I didn't put an equal, or the rand between function, like from 1 to 546. These are two functions that you can use to generate random numbers, right? This one will give you random numbers from 0 to 1. This one will give you random numbers from the range that you put. Both ways could be used. Now, the other thing that we learned today was to sort data, right? Now, we have it sorted now based on that random number that it generated a couple of sequences ago. But now we want it back to the original list, sorted by number. So we select this again. We go to data, sort range. Remember, my data has a header row for the names. And now we want it from A to C by number. And now we're back to our original list. Okay? And we can delete that column and we're back where we started. Okay? So this is couple of tools that you could use to select random samples. Now remember that Google Sheets will save whatever work you do every minute or so. Okay? So that's all I wanted to share today, and now I'm going to stop recording.